friends! Hello! Today we're going to talk about the twist and rip method, the twist and pull, the twist and tear. All very scary sounding names. If you'd like to see me actually twist and rip some hair, you will find a link to my how-to video in the description below this video. But right now we're just going to talk about twist and rip method in general, where I recommend to use it, and the pros and cons of the twist and rip method. So first off, it has quite a scary name. Generally you don't want to do things to your hair that have rip or tear in the name. But rest assured, there is no actual ripping or tearing involved. It is merely a way for describing the motion involved. And therefore I would think that possibly twist and pull is a more accurate representation of the method. Because what you're doing is twisting the hair and pulling. Twist and pull. Twist and rip is definitely one of the most popular methods out there at the moment. You could argue it's the most popular, but I don't know how you can get the data to support that. But when I first started out, I found nothing on the twist and rip method. It was definitely not the most popular method at that time, and that's because it has not been the most well publicized method. A lot of websites will try and push the backcomb method instead because they would like to sell you a comb to do the backcombing. Twist and rip has definitely gained a lot of popularity, at least from where I'm sitting, because it is such a simple method that anyone can do it and you don't need any tools. You don't even need to pay a lot of attention. You can make twist and rip dreads on your own hair, and if you can braid your hair, then you can definitely twist and rip your hair. It requires even less concentration than that. So I think a lot of its popularity gain has definitely been from the fact that you don't need anything beforehand to create dreads via the twist and rip method, and you can just sit and do them yourself. As mentioned earlier, it is just a twist and a pull. Again, you can see it actually done in my how-to video. I don't have any loose hair here to quickly demonstrate it, but it pretty much just involves twisting the hair, grabbing two random strands, and pulling over and over again to build up a layer of ever-increasing knots. I recommend this method for longer hair generally because it is not as tight as, for example, backcomb dreads will be initially. You can't really all that easily get super tight twist and rip dreads. This is not such a big deal if you have long hair, because you have long hair, even if they're not super tight knots, you're still going to be able to get plenty of them in and more than enough to stop the dreads from washing out. Whereas if you try and twist and rip shorter hair, while it is possible, I don't think it's quite as effective as with the backcomb method, because you're not going to be able to get as many knots in there, and the more knots the better initially, because it reduces the chance that they're just going to wash out. Because of the way that the twist and rip method works, it's not an upward knotting motion as with the backcomb method, it's more of a side to side, and because they're not initially quite as tight as, for example, backcomb dreads, you don't get as much initial length loss. So on day one, you can find that twist and rip dreads have not actually lost all that much length. They're still kind of as long as your normal hair. So the shrinkage from twist and rip is more over a longer period of time. So instead of having short dreads from the start, they will shrink slowly over time. And twist and rip dreads will also tend to be slightly skinnier than backcomb dreads are at the beginning, and they will thicken up a little over time as they shrink up and tighten. Okay, the pros and cons of the twist and rip method. Pros! Twist and rip is not all that tough on the hair. It's not a very damaging method. On a scale of damaging methods, it's not all that high. It's just hairs rubbing past one another. There are no tools involved. There's no intensive sort of chemical treatments. It's just hairs rubbing past each other. So that is definitely a pro. Which then leads me on to the fact that there are no tools and no chemicals or anything else required. So therefore it is easy and cheap. Well, it's free. It is a super simple method. Anyone can do it. If you have two hands or a friend that has two hands and you have the required hair length, you'll be able to twist and rip that hair. Super simple, super easy, definitely another pro. Twist and rip is a method that can be used in combination with sectioning. If you want to know more about sectioning, I will drop a link to my sectioning info video and also my sectioned versus unsectioned video. Those will both be in the description. What it basically boils down to is you're going to be able to vary the size of the dreadlocks and the position of the dreadlocks, which you cannot do with all methods. And twist and rip dreads look pretty dread-like on day one. There's no waiting around for the hair to lump and form as you would have with the neglect method. You get pretty much sort of dreadlock looking things right from the get-go. Twist and rip cons! Twist and rip dreads are going to generally be a little bit looser than their backcombed counterparts. It's not as easy to get super tight twist and rip dreads as it is to get super tight backcomb dreads. So while on the one hand that means you're not going to have a lot of shrinkage or shrunk up and tight and sticking out on day one like you would with backcomb, it does mean that it does not lend itself all that well to shorter hair, at least in my experience. Twist and rip is going to pull on your scalp while you're creating them, and so that can lead to sore scalp temporarily until you've finished, because you know, got a lot of pulling. It's quite time consuming. It takes quite a while to twist and rip a dread. It depends how long the hair is, how thick the hair is, and how good you are at twisting and ripping. But you add that onto the hair pulling, it can lead to, you know, many hours of hair pulling before they're completed. And this also means that if you are paying someone else, a professional, to create the dreads via twist and rip, you're going to be paying for quite a long period of time. Those are my pros and cons for twist and rip. What you have to remember is that it is just a starting method. You are just using twist and rip to take your lumps of hair and knot them together. It is still going to take many months for those lumps of hair to knot up properly and mature and tighten and turn into proper, strong, mature dreadlocks. So you're still going to have to be patient, you're still going to have to wait. The initial sort of shape, texture, the initial look of the twist and rip dreads, like with other dreadlock methods, is not going to be representative of the finished dread. You are going to have to wait the weeks and months of patient maturation time for those dreads to properly form. Okay, that was my twist and rip informational video. If you have any questions regarding the twist and rip method, starting dreadlocks, young dreadlocks, maintaining dreadlocks, dreadlocks in general, you can leave your question down in the comment section here, or you can tweet me at twitter.com/lazy_dreads. You can join the Facebook page at www.facebook.com/lazydreads, and as always, all my stuff can be found on lazydreads.com. I'd like to thank you for watching. If you like this video, click the like button. If you'd like to see more from me in the future, you can click the subscribe button. I hope to see you all again soon. Farewell!